So I think what I wanted to cover today is data economy, slide presenter. But I think Pramod as well as Nishit did a good job around what I wanted to cover. So nothing else that I should speak about data economy, but my perspective of data economy is, do I know what I'm selling? Do I know who is buying? Is there a right value associated with data? We spoke about UPI, we speak about a lot of platforms that share data, but today it's free for everyone to use. Believe if NCPI starts charging you at least 10 paise for the UPI transaction that you do today, how would data economy work at scale? Okay, so just a paradigm for that. So my objective is try and imagine you guys as not as architects, but strategists of future. So architects going to wear caps, just like Superman do. Can we save the planet? Yes, we are bound to save it. Is data forefront of this exercise? I believe so. If we have to solve it together, what we need is to unlearn many things and learn few new things every day in our life. So that's what we are going to do in next 30 minutes. Now I'm told I have 20 minutes. I'll try and see how I could make you wear the cap at the end of the session. So we know what is expected. The trivia here, how many of you do crypto wallet? Many do, right? Crypto is a currency. But many have started realizing the value that we have with data as an asset in an organization is beyond imagination. It's more than the crypto wallet. Now, data in use, if it is of that value, what about data in exchange? Simple fact, I was landing into Bangalore. Indigo knows that I'm landing. I'm taking a flight from Pune into Bangalore. It could have given me an option to book a car, right? It could have given me suggested hotels to stay. Rather than going into multiple aggregators, that is platform A to platform B to platform C, trying to figure out my schedule on my own rather than everything being charted out by an operator. That's data sharing, that's data economy that we could build. Value what we share and value what we bring to the table. But while we speak about all this, this is what we all, right? How many of you have faced this challenge? 12:01 on a Friday night, data pipelines break, data architect gets into that call, trying to figure out which pipeline broke, why it broke, was it an ETL, was it a source problem, a problem ticket, incident, all that nonsense and nuance. And they expect us to be the Supermans of the world, trying to save the world, right? So how do we look at these two paradigms in difference, right? World looks at us as builders. We are supposed to build data pipelines, look at sources, integrate them, work with them, try to make some sense out of an SAP data that comes out, which might be different for a different country. One guy would call vehicle as vehicle, the other guy will call it as moped, the other guy will call it as a different field. At the end of the day, it is data engineer's problem because he is not able to understand from which country it has been sourced, correct? There is no universal language that a data guy speaks, and data guy never speaks the universal language. Our English is ETL, API, pipeline, GDPR, compliance. If we have to be Superman, we have to speak the business language. So last year when I was here, I spoke about, is our data ready for AI? I think the data activation period went in leapfrog stage and we have got data ready almost everywhere. But we cannot still be the plumbing guys for digital enterprises. What we have to become is how do we federate data from different sources. It could be in an MongoDB of the world, it could be in single stores, it could be in a cockroach kind of a place. How many of you have worked with CockroachDB here? Few, right? So a good name. Why they named it as cockroach? Because cockroach surveys even the earthquake. They named it as cockroach. I met this team. Beautiful, distributed, schema-full, SQL-like tables, win 170 KB. So a lot of new companies are thinking about federation of data, helping us to set about a governance policy, governing the data quality, trust, integrity of the data that we get. Garbage in is garbage out. We have heard this many times, and in data, always the garbage is us, right? They say, you have the wrong data, we cannot go with this, we cannot forecast. So how do we go to federated, governed, and more importantly, automated. Automation is the next keyword for us, right? Can you automate a pipeline? Yes. But can you implement containers on the go? No. Do you know DevOps? Yes. Do you do DataOps? No. Do we do platform ops? No, because I'm a data engineer. I don't know infrastructure. That could not be the say in next few years or few months. We have to get into an automated. So the call is, can you become builders? Or can you become strategists from being builders? You cannot stand in a way, you see, you cannot stand in way of getting modernized, doing innovation at the same time, maintaining legacy at the same time. This is the plight of any data architect today. You have to still think about Teradata, Informatica, which has all the cube sets, and then move to PySpark, which doesn't understand T-SQL. You'll have to write 9 steps for one T-SQL statement, 18 statements or 18 different modules to do one join, one trim. It's not going to help. Again, the time taken at T-SQL is much faster than getting into PySpark and all this. While we deal with all this, can we still be the strategist? And my answer is yes. These are success stories that we talk about. I'm sorry, it is not a conventional bullet kind of stuff. I wanted to do data storytelling. I'm practicing that from you guys. Okay, if you were a data architect in this scenario, how would you approach? That was the question that I wanted to ask. This is about a capital market where trades are executed, like 15 billion trades are getting executed. How do you know which is fraud? How do you incorporate? There are multiple channels. People call over phone, you have emails, you've got online portals, you've got brokers who do this for them. So how do you call out a fraud? How do you stop executing a trade not after settlement? Multimodal integration that Nishit spoke before me is an action here. If you are a data architect, you cannot think only about the data which comes into your data warehouse to do an analysis, which is D minus 15 minutes at the max, right? The greatest we get, the closest we get to real time is 15 minutes. By 15 minutes, the transaction is completed. How about time weighted value, money weighted value? All that is gone. So how do you do with this, right? This is a success story. 50 billion transactions are being negated. It has been assessed. It has been approved. The next use case is many call a bank, try to execute a transaction. Now, how do you stop fraud when people speak to you? Is voice biometrics even a use case in data engineering? Yes, it is. You will have to record voices. You will have to understand voice context, the octaves, the stressfulness. People call you posing a CBI here in India trying to squander money from you. How do you actually avoid that? So voice, then the next use case is personalization. I know so much, I'm a customer to Citi, now I'm a customer to Access. Citi chose to sell to Access without my knowledge. I have to be bound by it. And Access starts selling me personal loan products. So is it personal? They have my full data. They know what I've taken, what's my credit history, all that. Is it personal enough? Should I take calls from 20 people who sell me personal loan? Sometimes I have said, yes, give me a 5 rupee personal loan. And I went through the entire IVR for that, right? But is it personal enough? We were working with one of the banks. The problem was, I make a call, the call costs me $2.85. The conversion rate is below 10%. Am I doing the campaign right way? It was never a data problem, right? Again, edge intelligence, edge KPIs, knowledge about domain. You get out of your depth every time to your depth as well to understand what that business guy is speaking. Is he speaking my parlance, my language? And among the IT folks, they look at me because I'm the closest to business. My dashboard is what they're taking and using it in their process dynamics. So I should be speaking the business language in evidence. So yeah, we have a good role to play as strategist. We were able to personalize the experience. Customer retention went up. We used to have a customer churn of about 75% in this newly opened phenomenon of customer targeted campaigning. Now the churn is below 5%. So that was good. There's another player. They use a lot of legal So legal counsels were bought in, paid at huge money. They spent about 360K hours in dealing with their legal documents. So contract licensing agreement is a big part of lending. How do we automate it? That was the question. It never had an intelligence play, an AI caliber, what they were looking at, but it's a data problem. Unstructured data and all, 28, 29 pages of legal document, vetted against 160 pages of policy. Policy would say a word, legal would have another word. How do we do it? And this is an actual customer testimonial where he said, now I could go for lunch. So the next sector is very close to my heart, agriculture. So we were working in India. The question was, India, 90% of our farmers have anywhere between 1 acre and 3 acres. How do we actually do contractual farming for them? How do crop insurance work? Crop insurance is another way of contract, but who will guarantee it? No more seeds, right? Seeds are purchased. No one actually keeps. I come from an agriculture background. We used to actually store seeds of previous 3 years, and that is how the seed is sold back into the soil, so the rice paddy could be cultivated. Those days we could have 3 times rice cultivation in Tanjavur belt. Now it is not so. At the max 2, they call fallows. They tell us you plant a male and female next to it. It helps in pollination. Keep equal distance between it. So rice paddies, if you would have seen, it gets planted in a nursery and then it's moved to a farm. Typically 600 plots of 600 yards and all that stuff. And none of my farmer is tech savvy. He doesn't understand what to sow, when to sow, how much urea to be put in, phosphate to put in. Is there a way that I could actually help this farmer to realize a potential yield against which the crop insurance will work? We spoke about subsidies. One of the major subsidies every state government does is actually the farmer loan reduction. Every year they come into, every electoral year they come in and say, I'm negating this, and that's a huge tax burden on an exchequer, and a huge tax burden when it comes to all our salaried individuals. So we were trying to work on that. It's a good use case. The data problem here is satellite imagery, soil precipitation levels, humus content, whatnot. We are not in the world of drone where it could take a real picture of the field. Someone has to take a picture pretty much in a very 2,000, 3,000 rupees mobile phone by a field agent. No clarity, you'll have to, so computer vision, all that, it's in the poster, you could look at it. This is what. Then another trivia, can your lettuce grow by itself? The answer is yes. These are large scale commercial farming where there are farmers are actually paid money in Netherlands to farm, and that's a huge cost for someone to tend on lettuce. By the way, lettuce is the important export from Netherlands, and Netherlands is now piped in. We have drone imagery, humid content, how much lettuce germlings actually has. Lettuce get into a white dust, so you know what to spray, when to spray, and also arrange for blockchain, the traceability of how the lettuce was. Order trucks, get the trucks there, fill the trucks, take contract laborers only for that period. Elephant yam is a useful case. Elephant yam takes about 9 months in growing. You've seen this big elephant yams, which is a staple food in Kerala, the place that I closely come from. But elephant yam does not require a lot of attention. There's no weeds that come in. You don't engage a farm labor all through 9 months. So you need someone to water it, drip irrigation. You need someone to spray, drone sprayers. You need someone to actually tell you when it is mature. That is when the sprout comes out of the ground. That's when you need carts and all that stuff. We're doing that in a place. Blockchain I spoke about. So data, all I'm trying to get to you is you can save the planet. We are even trying to say how much should be a corn kernel density to become an actual flow, and how long does it take for you to get there, right? These data cannot be pre-trained. Today you'll get a monsoon picture, clouds over Pune in Hinjewadi, and you know it is going to rain at 3 p.m., your weather data is quite factual. How do you actually alert the guy one day before? Ask him to spray, cover, do what not. That's what I'm talking about. You could become the strategist. Next is energy. We spoke about windmill. I'll take this use case. We've seen so many windmills. Do you know operating cost of a windmill is quite higher than actually what we pay to install them. And it is very high because it doesn't have a predictable energy conversion ratio. Though we pay a huge money for green energy, but it doesn't come cheap. And these windmill parts are bound to corrosion, especially in the sea-facing areas. And they are quite high, tall, more than the height of a mobile service tower. To get a guy there is a humanly risky option. So can we get IoT devices to self-heal, to rotate, to not to rotate during a corrosive day and all that? So it's an interesting question. There was a question about if we start going physical AI, will we have enough resources, infrastructure? Buffer usage effectiveness is an important project. Can a data guy do it? Yes, a data guy did that. We went about understanding power usage effectiveness. Standard is 1.67 per unit. If you are able to effectively use 1 unit of power for 1.67 times, it's the effective grading. If you can do it much better at 2-point scales, is the best way. The difference between 1.67 and 2-point scale is that you will power 500,000 homes for that day. So effectively, we bought one of the biggest drivers into PUE. This effective scale was 2.14, and every month there's a review if we can go much higher than that. Okay, you might want to ask this: what is 100% more heroic entrance? 50% is good enough, 50% fewer outages, many would accept. But what do you mean by 100% heroic entrance? So this was for a city in Germany where we traded the hours of usage of power appliances and the time of usage of power appliances for benefits. So it is like friends with benefits. We traded saying that if you're a retiree, you're not going to look at your peak hour of 7 to 9, you stop using it, then we will give you much more benefits in terms of when you can use. So we were having a methodology of serially switching on and switching off the electric appliances. Germany went through a heat wave last year. They don't even have air cons, but their temperatures reached 37, 38. The power outages were quite high because their grids were not able to support. We shaved off the peak by offering this. People who use from 7 to 9 paid a higher money. People who use from 9 to 11 paid a lower money. So I don't send 400 megawatts of power because power is always pushed for a peak consumption. Even you use it, you don't use it, it is pushed. So the question was, should I do it, should I not do it? And we were able to get that going. So what is it like for a data engineer? How would I make you wear cap? So we spoke about this. A data engineer should learn these things: IoT, AI, blockchain, digital twin, whatnot. So our age of learning has passed, I understand, but now there are 3 and 5 minutes videos that you get of all these learning topics. Please use that, learn the topic. So it's about not getting to the depth of it, adding 1 day more to who knows the depth, right? Add that. While you design, you'll have to design with governance, privacy, and sustainability in mind. Sustainability is equivalent to scalability this year. If you're able to sustain a practice over a period, you will be able to scale. And more importantly, we would want all of that to be done before lunch. I'm standing before you on lunch, so that's the reason I would say we would be able to wear cap. And our use cases are going to be smart cities, smart factories, going on that. Last year I came with a couple of slides with all different bullet points. I thought that was not engaging. Data is not engaging in which ways. I tried to make it a little bit comical. I ran it with my college going son, the first take of it, which was all bullets. No one will sit through your presentation. You're very bad at presenting, so don't do that. You're good sitting behind the system and working on it. So then we came up with this comic approach. The first time I'm doing it. When we catch up, we will see how it goes.